And what's going on, guys? We are back again. Surprise stream tonight. Uh, Once again, you guys are back on the show. We're talking Mirror Mirror with Montavius Parker, Drew Phillips, and Marcus. I always forget your last name, Marcus.
McGill.
Well, would probably mispronounce it, so I'm glad you said it anyway. So we're here to talk Mirror Mirror once again. You guys had your campaign, and I know you had some technical issues. So you had to do the relaunch. I checked it out, of course, supporting and making sure I recontributed again. Let me turn that off in a second. But recontributed in to the campaign, and now you guys got it restarted. And it looks like you guys are crushing already. I mean, the money's getting up there. You're pretty close to hitting your goal already. If anybody's out there, let's help these guys, smash that goal and go beyond it.
Yeah, we unfortunately on round one, in the last hour, we had a couple backers sort of waiting out the clock, and both of them had issues on Kickstarter's back end. But Kickstarter is not open on midnight at I guess September 1st. Was that Sunday?
Mm-hmm.
And this is not like to denigrate Kickstarter. What's going on, Tony? This is not to denigrate Kickstarter, but their support, there's no number you can call even if they are open. They're all email support. So we didn't even hear back until after the holiday because we ended Sunday. Then Monday was, of course, Labor Day. And then after that, they're basically like, we're so sorry that you had the issues, but due to policy, as soon as we, refund the pledges, we can't recollect them. Because it's basically a commitment between backer and Kickstarter saying that if you're not there, you're not there. And despite us being super close, what's going on, Zamir? It just wasn't close enough. But I think it's a blessing in disguise because we spent like the last 2 months really grinding this, like, texting, calling. My inbox, I mean, they can attest to this. I emailed everyone, including God, on this project. Every executive producer I could think of, every friend, family member, influencer. We tried to get influencer support. We had a little bit from our production designer, Kimberly. She does editorial style photo shoots on Instagram, so you should check her out. She's actually in the new video. So if you rewatch our video, you can see her work. But we did a lot of things to get to that number. And so we said this time, okay, statistically, we may not get every backer back, but we're going to try to get most of them. So we reset the goal a little smaller. We thought, if we don't make it all the way, we'll just do what indie filmmakers do. And, we'll find a scrappy way to get it done. Whatever it takes. Cause the four of us really believe in this project. Jonathan can't be here. He's in LA traveling, but, we just decided we're going to get it done. And, our new goal is to get fully funded on day one. And our new goal is 15K. And we're about, I want to say
690 or 670 off from it.
Yeah, we're a couple $100 away, essentially.
Yeah, I saw you guys were close. I checked out the campaign. It was so close. I mean, yeah, of course I'm going to reback. I didn't know if you needed a verbal confirmation on that, and then I kind of realized, let me just go and reback you guys up and make sure that at least I got that in there. And I was, when you said that, I was like, well, let's get you guys on and talk about the relaunch and share how the campaign's going and what the situation was, which you obviously explained. Question for you. Now, Kickstarter and Indiegogo. Now, those are the two big ones. What made you decide to go with Kickstarter over Indiegogo? Was there is it financially more feasible with Kickstarter? I'm curious as
two reasons. I mean, these guys can attest to this, but I'm a dreamer, so I shoot really high. So some people may hear $30,000 for a short and be like, oh my God. And they'd be right too, because every short I've done prior was not 30,000, but I pulled a bunch of name talent like Kevin Kepi, Courtney Taylor, who's going to star in her own Amazon series, Jonathan Davis, who of course was in Terrifier, Terrifier 2, I should say. But you know, they come at a cost. So yeah, I was shooting for the stars on this one, literally. But why Kickstarter? So I set it to 30, and I wanted to sort of light a fire under my team's butt. So my team, 3 of the 4 are here to get it done. Because the problem, in my view, with Indiegogo, and I've used it in the past, and I like them, but there's no that safety blanket. I feel is bad for the entrepreneur, because that's what we are. You can think of us as a startup because we're trying to, you know, make a film. Every film is a startup. And I felt that the safety net would be detrimental to our drive, if that makes sense. So it wasn't so much like one's better than the other. I just thought, you know, actually, well, percentage wise, I want to take a look. We can maybe Google that live. But Kickstarter takes 5% off the top, and then 3 to 5% if your backers use credit cards, which most people do. So we're talking somewhere in the realm of 8 to 10% total of the funds raised. Does anyone know what Indiegogo takes? I'll just Google it.
I think
Well,
it's
that's why I
slightly
was
a little bit more. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's
I know
slightly a
they
little
did.
bit more. But Indiegogo, one thing I think they offer that Kickstarter doesn't, like if you don't reach your goal or whatever, I think they fully refund everything back to you, and there's no fees or anything attached to it. It's like if you hit your goal, you hit it. If you don't, you don't. You know.
Yeah.
And I think they take a smaller cut at the end if you don't reach your goal. You know, they still got to get paid something. So,
Right.
I was just curious because you know, I support some people on Kickstarter, support some on Indiegogo, and I just was curious what one worked better. If you know, for future, when people ask me what would you do, now I kind of know. But it just sounds like both are good. But it worked, Drew, for you. What they had to offer, what you guys wanted to do for your project, Kickstarter was.
It sort of
ideal.
depends on like if you believe. So like on Indiegogo, if you think you can do your project for like less than whatever your goal is, I think it's a great source. It's like you're shooting for something, but you think you can make it for less. Whereas Kickstarter, I didn't feel that way on the 30. Now I'm having to make some revisions because of what happened, but that's okay because we're still going to make an excellent project. But so like if you set your Indiegogo to like, let's just say 10 and you make 2, you're obviously not making the thing that you envisioned off the bat, if that makes sense. You're going to have to cut some corners. But yeah, I don't know. I thought, because I've used both in the past. My first Kickstarter essentially failed. I was in college and I had to put it on like, you're not supposed to do this, but I had to put it on like a credit card on a separate account to pay the difference so that we wouldn't, you know what I mean? We would be able to keep our funds. And so I didn't use Kickstarter the second time which was my last project, I Believe in the Devil. And we did pretty good. I mean, I think I raised like $7,000 for that. And that was me alone. I didn't have a team. So now we have a team of 4 people working on this. So the numbers, obviously, the more people you have go up. In fact, Kickstarter has like a data sheet when you sign up to be a creator. And one of the things it says about successful campaigns is campaigns with teams are like 80% more successful than campaigns without teams. And I find that to be true, even though we technically failed on that last round. Like without this team, we wouldn't got close.
But you can say failed, but I mean, it's not like it's slowing you guys down. It just, you know, it's either going to tear you down or invigorate you. And it seems like it did the latter, which is good. You know, you guys are ready to hustle. You guys, I mean, I've seen you guys and I've tried to share out. It's been crazy for me. I like to share out more of everybody and you get a little overwhelmed, but I see you guys all over there. You guys are crushing it. You guys got a lot of great names with it, with Jonas and you got Marcus down there representing the Stream over there, which, you know, congratulations to Stream on their launch. But yeah, you guys, I think you guys are going to hit it. You guys came so close. And from seeing what I did when I went onto the campaign and checked it out, a little bit before I got on here. You guys are getting real close, and I don't think you're going to have a problem hitting your goal this time.
Yeah.
Well, that's the beauty of indie filmmaking, man. When you got people that are passionate about it, you know, you find ways to pivot. You know,
The indie family. I mean, the community is awesome. The horror community in general is awesome, and if they find something they're interested in, they're going to support the hell out of you. And it's been cool to watch. I mean, for me, as somebody who's been able to sit down with different filmmakers, watching you guys out there crushing it, and you know, watching a movie like Stream by Fuzz on the Lens, and where that went, getting into a theater, and even Terrifier was an indie film. Peter Anthony's working on Laugh. A lot of you guys are starting to really gain some traction and get into the movie theaters, and I think Mirror is a great opportunity with what you got on it and the producers you got on it. Drew's a passionate guy. I've really enjoyed getting to meet him. Montavius, of course, a go-getter kind of guy. I've watched this guy grow since he's got out there, and I run into him a lot. I can't wait to run into you again. It feels like a while now, Montavius. We got to get to another convention at some point.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's awesome what you guys are doing. I'm glad you guys, you know, are just like, you know what, this ain't a step back. This is a step forward, and we're going to keep pushing, and you guys are. So congratulations on, you know, relaunching and already crushing.
That has to go. I have to give a huge shout out to Drew, just because he's really been the backbone of this project. I mean, this man he says that he puts in a lot of work, and a lot of people can't, you know, they're like, oh, okay, yeah, he probably worked hard. No, this man has worked tirelessly,
day in, day out,
in hours and hours a day to make sure that this comes to life. And literally, I gave this man bare bones, and he's literally taken it and grown it as his own child, and it is. So kudos to Drew, because if it was not for Drew, we technically would not be sitting here right now, because this man has really put in so much work that I can't even fathom. So,
well, yeah, with the contacting, the emails. I mean, I see it from an outside looking in, and that's a huge kudos to you, Drew, out there really pushing and pushing and pushing and grinding and grinding and grinding. And it does take time. I mean, it's not easy work. It's constant. And you're right on top of it. And on top, you're doing other things than just promoting the movie. I mean, you're in marketing. You guys got a lot of work that you guys are doing, especially writing and getting everything together and getting ready for the film. So I can only imagine your stress level. I don't.
Well, it's better now. It's funny. I was really stressed towards the end of our last campaign, because obviously we were so close, and like something went wrong in the last 5 minutes, and I'm on the phone. Uh-oh.
We still hear you, Rose.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I just lagged for a minute, but something went wrong in the like the last 5 minutes, and I'm freaking out. I'm calling Montavius, and you know, we're not able to connect, and you know, it was just like everything. It felt like everything that could go wrong did go wrong in the last 5 minutes of the campaign, which is unheard of. Like, even when I'm talking to Kickstarter, I'm like, surely the support claim, I'm like, surely you can make an exception. Like, this doesn't happen. And they're like, we can't make an exception. But no, I should do, if and when we do get funded, because I'm underselling it, how many emails I sent. When I say I sent a lot, I sent like thousands. I should do, like, you know how people do screen captures? I should just like scroll through my inbox of the sent emails, because it's disgusting.
Well, I know I got a few of them, which I think was great though too, because the first one I was just I glanced at, and then I really took a good look at it the second time, because you get so busy.
Sure,
but it being in your nose, it's a good thing, because you know how emails go. You can get lost in the feed, you might not see it. So to be on that, and sending it daily or twice a day, just to make sure, especially with the Kickstarter people that donated, that you want to come back, you want to make sure they know, because I didn't, and because of you, I did realize that you were reaching out to restart, and I had to go and redonate to the campaign.
Yeah.
Anybody who's watching who hasn't done it, do that. Make sure you check out the new launch of the Kickstarter. You didn't get charged for the other one, and make sure you kick in for the relaunch.
That's important, because I had a few people think that they had, like, their old pledge stood. It does not. It's gone. That's back on your card, or if it's not, it'll be there in 5 business days. we're not getting that. So you do have to, if you're listening out there, you do have to repledge if you want to support us. And our biggest goal right now is getting the old people back. So with the old people, we've got about 60. We had 169. So if we can get those other 100, we're gold. We're in good shape. So we're working hard on doing that now. But I think what the emails you were referring to are probably my updates regarding the project.
Well, you had a lot of updates, but that's great.
Right.
I love updates.
But there was the disgusting ones were my cold reach outs to like people I didn't know, trying to get them to fund. And I want to say I sent 1,000, and only one of them of the 1,000 resulted in a direct dollar contribution, but it was a pretty substantial one. So it was like all that work was worth it in the end. Because like 1,000 people told you thanks, but no thanks. But that one person was like that I didn't know, and now I do. Because I'm cold, like I said, cold emailing producers, executive producers, anyone who might slightly be interested in Mirror Mirror for one of our many angles on the film: horror, black-led, mission-oriented, any of the above. So we would brainstorm, and I'd be like, guys, who can you think of? And then my job for the week is try to reach out, call them, email them, do whatever. And so much of it resulted in like door in your face. But the one door, so there's a lesson in there for, I guess, younger or any even older filmmakers. Keep knocking, because you only need one door to open.
I was going to say, or actors. It sounds, it seems like in the film industry, you're going to get a lot of no's or no responses, but it only takes one that can change your life in a role. I know tons of actors that are out there that are really cool. I'm sure you guys do too. And they'll audition. And then it's a numbers game. And then they finally get that role. And sometimes it's that one, that role of a lifetime that happens. And it happens a lot, if you don't put in the work and you're not grinding like Drew, and you can't accept the no's, and you get frustrated that out of the 1,000, I didn't hear from anybody, but you get that one. That's all it takes sometimes.
Yeah. And Jonah's not here to represent the acting side of things, but I will say I'm also a SAG actor. Jonah's a little more accomplished. I have fewer credits under my belt, but my credits are reputable. I've been on FBI and Law and Order and a few of them. I will say actors have it hard in that, like you're saying, it's not just the no's. I want to say to the non-actors out there, do you get stressed during a job interview? And it's rhetorical. Most people do. Every audition is a job interview for an actor. So they're like serial interviewers. That's stressful. Like it's very hard to come to that and like learn. You have to learn to let it go. Like you do your best and then leave it at the door. Go home and have yourself a beer, hug your wife, whatever.
You got to have thick skin to do what you guys do. That's for sure. There's my sister. Good to see you, Debbie, out there in California. Happy birthday to my niece.
Happy birthday.
They had the big birthday party yesterday. It seems like they're all just getting older and older, and I'm getting grayer and grayer. I don't know. It's going too fast.
I'll say on the producer side of things, because I have no clue what actors really go through other than me saying no to them about something.
He's the guy who always says the no.
He's the one who breaks people's spirits. It's difficult for us when it comes to fundraising and trying to tap into people's wallets to fund projects. I mean, because like Drew said, you do get a lot of doors slammed on your faces or passive aggressive emails saying, basically screw you, no, but come work on my project. They'll say no and then ask you on the other side to come work on their project, which is weird, but
sides of the coin.
You just gotta love this, man. And I've been into film since my mom took me to see my man when I was 4 years old, opening night. I've loved horror ever since then, and I'm just blessed and fortunate to be with these guys and be with other filmmakers like the Fuzz on the Lens crew, Damien, Phil Falcone, all of those guys, where it's a constant learning process for me. Like I grew up idolizing Jerry Bruckheimer as a producer, and I was like, man, I want to do what he does, except for the horror genre, And I just love it, man. So even with those no's and being a former athlete, and Montavius could attest to this, when you lose games and stuff like that, man, that just reinvigorates you for the next one, you know? And you just got to keep pushing and find ways to make your dream come true. And we're doing that with this project. So
Yeah, and all you guys have had a lot of great success in your own way. I mean, you guys are all always taking those steps forwards. You know, every step isn't forward. You might get a step backwards, but it doesn't stop you guys from taking that step forward. I've been watching Montavius, and I've been watching the stream guys and Fuzz on the Lens and the Terrifier. And I know you've been involved with a lot of that. And that's really cool. I mean, now you're the guy influencing that kid watching TV and going, I'd like to be doing what that guy does. That's kind of a special feeling right there.
yeah, it is, man. Just like that's why I'm glad that we're partnering up with this organization in Philly, just to be able to pay it forward, man, and give the people opportunity that I was given. That's how I view it. If it wasn't for me going to horror conventions and meeting Damien and meeting the Fuzz on the Lens guys, I wouldn't be doing this right now. So I'm grateful for that. So I'm glad that we're having the opportunity to pay it forward to the next generation of filmmakers.
Speaking of which, anybody listening, a lot of our backers who picked sponsor a PA, which is what he's talking about and how we're giving it back. We need you guys to repledge so that we can do this. So please come back in and remember why you pledged in the first place.
For sure. And I just want to add to that, that's the whole reason for this project is like, yes, we want to, make something that, everybody can enjoy, but also it's also about helping and having and inspiring the next generation of people to want to be, involved in film. So I think this is a great way, for that to happen. And, we definitely need everybody's support. That way we can get back and give back to as many people that, that we can. So yes, please repledge, revisit the campaign. Let's go ahead and finish this thing out tonight. So, and then it's still going to keep going after that too. So once we do hit the goal, it's going to continue to be up for the next 14 days. So every penny that we get is going to go straight into the project. So definitely keep sharing, and we're definitely ready.
I want to say I'm touched. I don't know if anyone who did this is listening, but a lot of people who came back the first time and did back again upped their pledge without I didn't ask them to. They just I feel that the reason is probably that they were sad that we failed the first time. I can't think of another reason why they would do it without asking. I asked them to repledge their initial amount and they came back. Some people doubled. Like that's crazy to me. I'm like,
that's the fans for you though.
Yeah,
they're eager for to see what you guys got in store. I mean, you guys have presented the story great. You got a great cast. You got great, talents, but great people on board too. And I think that goes a long way with the horror community. If you're, when people see you're genuine, you care about the horror community, you supported the horror community. I know I've watched Montavius do that, and it does go a long way. Like you said with conventions, Marcus, that's a huge thing to get out there and network and market as a filmmaker. And you meet, you meet so many great people. Like you said, you met Fuzz on the Lens, Damien Leone, and you do make those networks and contacts. And it's something that needs to be done. And it's cool that you guys are here to explain that to people. Excuse me. But that you guys are able to explain it, because there is a lot of work to it, but there is a lot of process to go through that you guys do and steps. And the fans see that, though. They see Montavius at the conventions. They see Jonah. They see you, Drew. They see you, Marcus. They're seeing Stream in the theater. That was really cool. So I got to give a big congratulations to that. But I think people see the potential with the team that you guys got and want to see it happen. And that's why they'll double up that sponsorship. They want to make sure, hey, if somebody's not going to do it, we're going to cover the ones who can't come back or didn't realize to come back and kickstart it up. So yeah, you guys are crushing, man. You guys are so close to the final goal. I think you're going to smash it before you know it.
Fingers
man,
crossed.
even having the opportunity of being on your show to present this to everybody, man, we appreciate it and we're grateful for it.
Oh, anytime. I'm glad you guys are able to come on and explain what happened, because sometimes emails and stuff, people might miss them, like I said, or not quite understand. And now you guys can explain it. I'd even recommend with the Mirror group, you might want to do like a short clip explaining to everybody about the Kickstarter, and just be like, if they didn't get the email, I'm bad about checking my emails too.
It's actually,
sometimes I don't comprehend reading as much. It doesn't absorb when you hear somebody say, listen, you're not getting charged for your Kickstarter before, but we'd love you to come back and support the relaunch. There's nothing that's changed. It's just a relaunch, and we need all the help and support you can, because every dollar, even if you hit the goal, you want to surpass that goal, because the more money you have, the more you can invest into the film.
Absolutely. The better the lens for the film nerds.
Absolutely, man.
Absolutely. And actually, the first, if people care to press play on the new video, it's basically the old video with a couple changes.
I can actually pull it up. It's on Kickstarter, right?
It is, yeah. I just briefly explained, as you said, at the top, sort of what happened, and
Let me you guys can talk. It'll probably take me a second to find the Kickstarter and everything, but I'm gonna look you up, because I know that'll be right there. I
last horror movie that you guys saw in the theater. Go.
Last horror movie
that you saw in the theater. Stream. Okay. Okay. Alien Romulus for me.
I saw that. That movie was good, man. I enjoyed that one.
We had a discussion on that one, man.
Well, unless you get an Alien, since you brought it up, now I have to give myself my own little promo there. Scarefest, huge event, exciting event. I'm a huge Aliens fan, so it was great to see Alien Romulus. Well, I got the Xenomorph, Carl Toop, coming to sit with me at Scarefest. We got so much cool alien stuff. We're going to have this figure that Lonnie McCullum's working on, Michael Toast working on some 6 skateboard decks and cutouts. We're going to have some amazing stuff. And I'm excited to be sitting with these Xenomorph. I know people don't get that credit behind the mask, but I mean, that guy's a legend. He was in Aliens 1986. Yeah, I mean,
let me tell you, one of the greatest things that happened to me was, I think it might have been 3 years ago. Yeah, it was before I had COVID, I think. I got to hang out with Lance Henriksen at Monster Mania. And we didn't even talk about Alien or Aliens or nothing. We talked about Hard Target the majority of the time and Stone Cold. And he bought me beers. I was like, how cool is that? That somebody who I grew up idolizing and loved his work, and I'm sitting here drinking beer with him and he's buying. That was like one of the greatest experiences I ever had, man. Just
it's cool when you're actually talking to him about, and you're talking something just totally different, and you're just chilling, and then you think, oh, man, I'm talking to Lance Henriksen, and we're not even talking Pumpkinhead or Alien or any of that stuff.
We're talking Hard Target with Jean-Claude Van Damme, because that's like one of my all-time favorite roles of his. So, yeah.
All right, I just about got it up here. Let me.
And then I was with the Aliens crew. Everybody but Sigourney Weaver and Lance and Bill Paxton, of course, were here at Days of the Dead Vegas back in March. So I got to hang with those guys because I was kicking it with Felissa and Dave Sheridan there. And we got to hang with those guys. And yeah,
those guys are cool. I mean, I deal with special needs, and I've met Dave and Felissa a few times, and my guys usually can't go with me. And Dave's signing us, a scary movie doofy mask, and Felissa spoiling my guys, and they're just the nicest, coolest people.
Yeah, they really are.
Shout out to them since you brought them up. I got the video about ready to play here, so let me share the screen up, and we'll show the Kickstarter too. We can go through some of the perks after if you want as well that people can invest in.
Hey, Mirror fans, I'm Drew Phillips, the writer and director of Mirror, and I just wanted to give you guys a brief update on why we're relaunching. As some of you know, during the final hours of our campaign, some of our backers ran into technical issues preventing them from making the pledge. But we won't let that stop us from succeeding. So many of you believe in what we're doing and our project. So, without further ado, here's the relaunch from Mirror. What's going on, y'all? It's Jonah Famous I'm here to tell you about my new indie horror project, Mirror Mirror. Now, Mirror Mirror was inspired by my love of horror and the lack of representation of African Americans in the horror industry. So this is a perfect blend of Black parenthood plus some chilling thrills. Now, this short film follows the story of a young Black couple expecting their first child. So they're trying to upsize from a tiny apartment in the Bronx. So they buy a mansion at auction from a bank, only to discover that the demonic forces in the mirrors of the house are coming for their unborn child. Spicy. And we have a really great team involved. We have award-winning director Drew Phillips, known for his work at FBI, Badland, and I Believe in the Devil. As far as cast, we have Kevin Kepi, the fantastic creature actor from Smile. Yes, we have Courtney Taylor, known for the horror film The Invitation, as well as Abbott Elementary. And lastly, we have myself, known for the cult classic horror film Terrifier 2, Power Book on Stars, and Reasonable Doubt. Now on post, we have Kevin Ward, who's doing all special effects. He's known for his outstanding work on Sci-Fi's Face Off. And we have Kimberly Douglas on production design, known for her work with Samsung, Canon, and her intricately designed editorial style photo shoots. Now, please donate, give what you can, because we're really trying to shine a light on the African-American family unit in a positive way inside the genre that we love. Please check out our campaign, and I'll see you soon.
Very cool. And we can go through some of the perks as well. Were you guys able to hear the video? I know Drew messaged me. He was having a little trouble hearing the audio on the trailer. Did you guys have any issues?
It was cutting in and out, and it was kind of sped up. Yeah.
Well, we'll make sure we relaunch it. If you can get me the file, we'll post that out there if you want. I'll post out the Kickstarter, and we can post that video. I think that video going out will go a long way. So nice job with that and updating on people like
Thank
that.
you.
So
yeah, I'll send you either tomorrow morning or tonight the raw file.
sounds good. You guys are at fort and like Karen said out there in the chat, 666 away.
What a number, right? What a number.
I don't know if that's a bad omen or a good one.
I'd say normally it'd be a bad omen, but you guys are dealing in horror. That is the good omen. That is the good
you know
omen.
what they said? What was it? Arnold Schwarzenegger's End of Days, where Rob Steiner said that the devil works in reverse, so it's not 666. The number is 999, and that movie came out in 1999, going into the new millennium. So, yeah,
such an underrated Arnold movie too. I'm glad you brought that up.
Best Arnold movie is Total Recall, and there is no room for discourse. That's just the truth.
What was the one where he had a baby? That was my favorite one.
What was that one called? I forgot.
I mean, they did Twins. Twins was classic. What was the I don't know. I couldn't agree with that though on that. Total Recall is a good one. Terminator 2. I could debate a lot of Arnold movies.
Total Recall. We'll get into it for an hour, but
it's a great movie.
If you read the script, it is just straight an awesome science fiction movie, and then you put Arnold in it, and it's just pure fun. Consider this a divorce, one of the best one-liners of all time. So good.
Well, I mean, Arnold was the king of one-timers. He's got a lot of all-time great ones.
I know.
Him and Sylvester Stallone, but Arnold's got some good ones, some real good ones.
People sleep on his little drama horror movie that he did where his daughter was a zombie. Maggie, man. I like Maggie. Yeah. Maggie was actually pretty good.
But I can't argue with you it being your favorite though either. I can't do that. I mean, because that is a great film as well. And we're going through it. It's probably hard for people to read this, but I wanted to go through some
the same in terms of like what was there before.
Right.
The pledges are also mostly the same because again, we're not reinventing the wheel here. We're just trying to get rebacked because we were so close. We could taste it.
Well, you're real close now. 666 away. I don't see you guys not being able to knock that out of the water. When's the campaign end on this one?
It's a 2 week. It's 15 days technically, but it says 14 because it's 15 from the second that you start, and we started 9:30 a.m. Eastern, so 15 days from then.
I mean, this is a pretty cool shout out too. You guys got for $10. You get Drew, Jonathan, and Montavius giving you a shout out. So I like that for $10. You get your social media shout out. You got the breaking glass digital copy of the film, so you can watch it pretty much immediately. I'm guessing once it gets released. Is that going to be on release night, or are you going to have a film premiere? You're going to try to get it?
So yeah, that will be. That's why it says January 2026. So what will probably happen after we finish is it'll have to do the festival circuit. So we can't have it circulating online. However, we might do probably will do a private digital screening for people who backed, and then also a private in-person screening here in Philadelphia, again, for those who backed, should they be able to self-report to Philly. But festivals don't want any sort of they essentially want exclusivity. They don't want it out there.
Which makes sense.
So once it's done that, yes, everyone will get a link and they can watch it.
Well, there's a lot of film festivals out there. I'm hoping to see you guys like Mirror and at one of the cons that I'm at. And most likely Montavius will be there, so I'm sure he'll be pushing to make sure that Mirror is in there. I know how he does his thing. So yeah, you guys got some really cool perks. You don't have a lot of perks, but you got solid perks and a lot of cool ones, but also ones where you guys are kind of giving back and teaching as well as as a big part of the perk. You got
last time around, we had 7 or 8 people signed up for the short film mentor sessions. Again, we want those people back. We'd love to do it. So come on back. That
was one thing that we had a deep discussion on, was like perks, because we didn't want to have too many where it would just be random stuff and people wouldn't contribute. So we had a deep dive discussion on, okay, what would be most beneficial for them to incite them to contribute. So Drew came up with the teaching courses, and even added one where I could teach on producing and budgeting and scheduling, things like that, since inherently I'm a line producer. Then the sponsor, the PA one, was a big one. That was the main driving force, for this being a mission-based campaign. So yep, those were the key.
I see it as the Achilles heel of some campaigns, and some people may argue with me on the opposite if they found great success. So maybe it could not be tried and true. Maybe this is my opinion or take on it. But I see a lot of campaigns with a lot of physical perks. And as a film project, I think those are the bane of your existence, because you need that dollar to go into the film. So if you're spending, we have a couple. We have T-shirts and high tier rewards. So if you donate 500 or up, you can get Jonah's head and a couple other physical rewards, and they are awesome. If you're a horror fan and collector, I can't deny that. But as a film production, you need the dollar. So if you have to make 50 heads, all of a sudden you're spending your whole budget that you raised trying to make heads, if that makes sense. When your goal was to make a film, so my creative mind was how do we give people something that is valuable but is intangible. So you're not it won't be a taken. So what we came up with is experiences. So it's short film mentor session.
I think it's cool. It's a cool idea to for somebody to learn. And sometimes, there's all different campaigns. So I don't say somebody should do it this way, but I see your goals not really to have the walk-on roles, but if somebody wants to be involved in the movie and learn something, you're going to bring them in and teach them instead of just throwing them to the wolves, I guess, or how you see, or feeling like you got to adjust something for a perk or spend the money on something like a material item that's taken away from the perk, unless it's donated, I guess. But if you guys are spending money on the perk and then everything else that's cost and expense, the perk really becomes it'd just be easier to donate a less amount of money and you'd probably get more money out of it than if you did the whole perk and all the other stuff with it. Knowledge and being able to share that is valuable, and it's definitely a little lighter on the old wallet too. So,
and even with the one perk for the PA coming on set, Drew thought of it hey, we don't want to just throw this PA, like you said, to the wolves. We give them the opportunity to say, hey, what department do you want to work in? What are you leaning towards? And you can shadow that department head and learn from them, directly.
And you can learn what you actually have a skill for. You might try a whole bunch of different jobs, a whole bunch of different things you see and go, this is something I'd like to do. because it's not just standing in front of the camera. It's not just holding the camera. There's just there's so many jobs on the set that you don't see in front of the camera. That there's opportunities that it needs people with knowledge and skills at. So it's also a great perk, but it's also something that can, for these people, it's not just the experience on there. It's something they can take with them and use in the future. And it's an investment in themselves to be able to make money doing something they love to do, or something they find they love to do by being on set.
Yep.
Yeah, very cool. I like that a lot, and I'm super stoked for you guys. I think the movie's gonna be awesome. That you guys are already gonna hit your goal in the campaign goal, and I hope you double it by the time you guys get there, triple it before you guys get to filming, and really be able to put out exactly what you guys want. Because I know if you guys got the budget, you can do what needs to be done. I believe that you guys got a great story. I can see how passionate Drew and Montavius and yourself, Marcus, are about it. Even when Jonas was on, how excited he was for it. And I think you guys got something special up your sleeve, and I'm so glad you're close to 666 away from it.
Come on, somebody.
Come on, don't give him the devil's curse. Somebody out there get that 666.
There's a Lewis cipher out there that'll cut a check.
You might need the 666 perk out there, an additional perk. But I'm going to leave you guys the last few minutes to explain things. I got such a long weekend, and we're almost at 45 minutes, but we're going to get you guys back on anytime you guys want to talk about what you guys are up to with the show update, and anybody, you guys are welcome to come on and talk about what you guys are doing, and, possible, casting calls if something happens or anything you guys need to do for the movie. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there happy to help and support any way they can.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you once again for having us on, and enjoy the rest of your week, guys. Let's smash this. We're almost there.
You guys are close, man.
Safe travels.
By the weekend. A couple more days before the weekend. I'd like to see you guys be able to go out there Saturday night and have a beer or something and celebrate crushing that Kickstarter goal.
Yeah,
that's right. Champagne popping time.
Man.
But thank you guys. Thank you so much. And we will catch up soon. And we'll be sharing out the Kickstarter campaign over at Doomsday's Krypt. And feel free to share it out yourselves on Doomsday's Krypt. You guys are always welcome to do anything you need. And feel free to reach out to me if there's anything I can do on my part.
Thanks again, man.
Thank you. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you, guys. Peace out. Topeka, Kansas, guys, this weekend. If anybody's out there in the Kansas area, come check us out. The weekend after, we'll be out there in Minnesota, Minneapolis for Crypticon. I'll be in the Nightmare on Elm Street room with Beatrice and Lisa Wilcox and Ken Sagos and the whole crew of Nightmare on Elm Street 3, 4, and 5. Really, my buddy Michael Bailey Smith will be there. Cannot wait. Going to be a lot of fun seeing the Crypticon family, Chaz DeMoss and all them, and Topeka with Keith Van Sickle, Beatrice Bupley, the Big Swag, Brett Wagner, Kim Myers from Nightmare on Elm Street 2 and Hellraiser Blood Loss, and also Mark Patton from Nightmare on Elm Street 2. He's got the body. I've got the braids. But all right, guys.
I get a lot of hate, but I love Nightmare on Elm Street 2 is my favorite of the franchise.
Hey, and he's the meanest looking. And I have one Freddy Part 2 bust that's amazing that I had to keep just for this event coming up. So
that was the most demented he played the role, so that's why I love it so much.
Scariest looking Freddy for sure. Yeah. All right, guys. Peace out, and we will see you soon.
Sounds good.